This week I learned literally anyone could write a better Star Wars sequel trilogy than what we actually got. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update as we're getting closer and closer to All Hallows Eve and Halloween night, the most fun nights of the year, in my opinion, at least if you got young kids. It makes you remember what you love so much about this time of year, guys. But it's been a fun week, a little bit under the weather, so I'm trying to kind of fight this throat thing off, so I hope you'll deal with the that I'm going to be doing about 100 times in this video. You just feel like you just can't get your throat clear. But it is what it is, guys. We're going to go ahead and dip into what am I reading. I'm about halfway through They Thirst by Robert McCammon. Gonna be honest with you guys, it's I really like the way that Robert McCammon does characters. I think he does them great. Problem I think that he does is he does too many of them sometimes. And I think I've got this problem with They Thirst is, okay, I think I've figured out who the main character is. Andy does seem to be the main character. I wasn't certain for a while. I mean, he was in the prologue. You're kind of following him on this case now. Makes sense that he's the main character. Problem is, I don't know who else is a main character in this story, because it seems like he introduces a new one every chapter or every other chapter, to the point where it's almost frustrating, where I'm like, okay, how about those characters you just spent 40 pages on? Where did they go? You know, so I feel like there's characters dipping out, new ones dipping in, and I feel like some of them are just being built up just to be made vampire fodder or turned to vampires, I think. And I guess it makes sense, but it just, I don't know, it kind of got annoying that I can never really latch onto, like, 3 or 4 main characters, because I feel like he keeps bouncing around all the time. And now it's just kind of got to the point where it's just dragging a little bit. And it's just like, okay, I feel like we've covered this. Let's get on with it. I feel like he does slice of life really well, but when you're doing like a crime detective kind of story, I kind of need that case to, go off a little bit. Now, I'm sure that's going to. I have no concerns about that. Robert McCammon usually does. But it was clear to me I needed to take a break. And that's why I picked up Head Full of Ghosts, my next planned spooky season read, guys. And that went really well. As you can see, it's almost done here. I'll probably be finishing this one up today. In fact, I'm recording this later than I had planned to because, I couldn't stop reading this. I'm in the last parts, 3 parts here. Here's the thing about this, and I'm going to give you a little bit of constructive criticism on it as well, is I think that the main story, like the flashback telling about the actual possession, exorcism, maybe whatever that whole situation is, really good stuff. He writes the family really well. I'm connecting with all 4 members of that family. I like their dynamic as things start to fall apart and things like that. He really covers those bases really well of how just a traditional suburban family like this would kind of undergo this kind of crises. He does that great. What I don't like, and I'm going to be fair, there's only been 3 of them in the book, but he does like these blog entries from this person who does like horror reviews, I guess, that is like deconstructing the television show that they're recording in this. And that is some of the most cringe stuff I've read, guys. I will tell you, you don't have to read it. I will take that bullet for you. Don't read them, because it's one of those things where I know it's written to be like it's written by, like a Gen Z teenager that's, really just hip and up on things, and is really just out there with all of the messaging and stuff. And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like so overdone that it's like, wow, you keep using that word, patriarchy. I'm not sure it means what you think it means. And it gets real. I mean, it's like reading a Swiftie, like a Swiftie's Twitter timeline. It's really cringe stuff. It is horrible and almost ruins the book. But like I said, thankfully, guys, that's 3 little sections, and they're like 4 or 5 pages each. But I will tell you, you don't have to read them for the story to make sense. And the main story is very good, so I don't want to chase you off with that. But those parts, awful. I don't know what he was thinking with that, because it's just horrendous. But I'm hoping that he sticks the landing, because I have liked the book quite a bit. I'm very happy with it. And I say it's probably my favorite spooky season read so far. So there is that, just above Little Heaven at the moment. I did read some Told the Hounds before I picked that up. I thought, maybe I just need to get back to fantasy for a second. I'm almost at page 500, and I'm still not to the halfway point of this monster of a book, but I just want to let you guys know, because I've had some people being like, did you already quit Malazan again? Nope, never have quit Malazan. Took a break, just rolling through this very slowly. Now I'm beginning to wonder if my goal of finishing this before the end of the year is going to happen, but we will see what happens after spooky season ends. I might be able to dedicate a little more time to that. I finally finished this with my kid. First book in Heroes of Olympus, his lost hero, Rick Riordan. And it was good. It's good. It took him a minute to kind of connect with the new characters, Jason and Leo and Piper, because he wanted his Grover, he wanted his Percy, he wanted his Annabeth back. He wanted those characters, that he got with in the first series. But now that he's seen that they are going to kind of come back around, and the next book is, apparently about Percy Jackson. So I think he's interested enough to keep going. He didn't like this as much as he liked the first 5 books, but he liked it enough to say, yeah, I definitely want to continue with the next one. So a lot longer than those Percy Jackson books. I know this one took a while, but we took the entire summer off. He just chose to stay up and late and play games instead of read, and that's fine. I've had people ask me already, hey, what series are you going to read with your kid after you finish that one? Well, that's taken us so long, guys. I'm pretty sure he's going to age out of dad reading to me before bed age, before we actually, finish those. So we'll probably finish Heroes of Olympus, and then it'll be time for him to read on his own. Yeah, I think that's probably where we're at. It'll break my heart a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. So how about what am I going to read, guys? I am going to finish They Thirst. And like I said, I'll probably finish Head Full of Ghosts. After this, I'll probably go ahead and pick that up and finish it because I've got less than 100 pages left. Really short book, quick read. And then try to finish out They Thirst sometime this week. And then I got to start on to The Ruins by Scott Smith. That is the second to last spooky season read. So I might just make it yet, guys. We got about a week and a half left in October. I might actually get all my spooky season reads in because the Ruins, it doesn't look like it would be that long of a read. Probably a little longer than Head Full of Ghosts. Not as long. About Little Heaven length, it looks like, which is cool. And I'm only committed to volume 1 of Blackwater. So I think I might actually get all these in. When I thought about, this time last week, I was like, I don't think that's going to happen because, playoff baseball, because of the NFL, that these things happen. NBA's starting back, and I am a big sports fan. But I think I actually kind of did clamp back down a little bit this week. And then I will actually be able to start One Piece Volume 14 that I keep telling you guys I'm going to start. I just, every time I think I'm going to, I'm like, hey, I need to make sure I get these spooky season reads. Now, obviously, that's a very, very different than reading a novel, so I probably will fit one of those in, but yeah, my kid's very frustrated with me because he's very, very far ahead of me now in the anime, and so I feel like I'm letting him down in that regard. Hey, you'll learn when you become a parent, you feel like you're always letting people down. It's just the way that it goes. You learn to roll with it, right? But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got planned here for the rest of the month. So let's see if I can actually hit those goals. How about this week on the channel? A couple things came out, a couple things got delayed a little bit. I did talk about Nothing with Josh over at Red Fury Books. That was really cool because I'm pretty sure Josh and I are like kind of cloned from the same brain because I think we have like all of the same reading likes and dislikes. He likes Robin Hobb just a little more than me. I really like Robin Hobb. He absolutely worships Robin Hobb, so that's a little bit different there. But we're both huge Stephen King fans, and we talked about an hour and a half, and I don't think we ran out of things to talk about at all. And it was pretty much, I know some people voiced displeasure about talking about Nothing going off the rails. We pretty much stick to books in that one. I try to bring it over to TV and movie stuff a couple times, but Josh is very, very focused on when he is reading something, and I love finally getting to speak to him because Josh, absolute salt of the earth, great guy. Absolutely great guy. Fellow Texan, so he's got my respect easily for that. But I actually had to move that one up. I did have someone else on the schedule, and I just changed my mind about having them on. I'll leave it at that. And I had Josh planned for November, so I just asked him, hey, would you mind moving it up? And he did. So I want to thank him for joining me on such late notice. I hope you guys will go back and check that out if you missed it, because it was a ton of fun. And I think that there was lots of stuff that we talked about that you guys would be interested in hearing about. I did my Stephen King. While I'm on kind of hiatus from Into the Multiverse, I've tried to keep Stephen King content kind of flowing on the channel. And I said that the question I get asked the most is, where should I start with Stephen King? But the question I get asked the second most is, what are his scariest books? So I want to take a minute to do that. I thought that was a good topic. I do kind of let my frustration out a little bit at the end of the video, talking about how everyone assumes that all Stephen King books are horror, and not even close. I think that he's wrote more books now that are not horror than there are, but hey, these are the 10 that really kind of left a lasting impression on me. Now with that, it's always hey, it's going to be different for everybody because I think we're all scared of something different, right? And I think if I wrote that list when I was a teenager versus now, completely would have been different. I mean, there'd have been some mainstays for sure, but some of them probably would have been for different reasons than they are now. And I kind of go into that. And I think that's what makes King's books so special. Is you can read them when you're a teenager and be scared or thought have thoughts about it in one way, and then you read as an adult and it's scary or thought provoking for a completely different reason. And that's what just makes the man a dark wizard. And that's why he is got the most content on this channel and why I'm not even close to being done with talking about Stephen King stuff. So I hope you guys will check out some of those if you haven't. If you're looking to get a good fright, I even mentioned some of the short stories in there. So if you want to see what makes Stephen King scary, but you don't have time for a 500-600 page tome, I got some good selections from Skeleton Crew in there that I think will give you an idea and maybe make you scared of open water a little bit like I am. And I did a short, I've been talking about Kingsbridge by Ken Follett a little bit lately, is a lot of my patrons, they started reading Pillars of the Earth, after me drumming it in their heads for 3 years about how great that book is. Actually, I'm just glad that they read it. Honestly, I tease them about it, but it was one of those things where I did like my best book ones and just gushed about Pillars of the Earth. Just barely missed my top 10 books of all time. And the thing is it's been so long since I read it. I read it in 1996. I was a junior in high school, and I didn't find out that Kingsbridge was a series, really, until I started this channel. I had no idea that Pillars of the Earth was not a standalone book. So I said, hey, I'd like to get into some more of those because, like I said, I think that Ken Follett's an amazing writer. I think Pillars of the Earth is an S-tier novel. It's easily, without a doubt, right now one of my top 20 books of all time. Should I go back and reread it? I think maybe I should. And I don't mind because it is one of the greatest books ever. And here's the thing is I know I said I was going to kind of stop on the rereads. That one I don't mind because, like I said, 20-something years, that's a long time to try to remember everything. And now everybody said, like, well, it doesn't matter if you go back and reread that one because those books are all kind of standalone-ish, so you don't really need to. But then they're saying also, the same people that are telling me that are telling me, well, yeah, it is best to read them in publication order because you get those little Easter eggs. I thought you just said that you could read them as standalones. Anyway, so my question in that short was, should I start with Pillars of the Earth or should I start with the prequel novel? And pretty much get the usual reaction I get. Publication order, always. I see you, Scott. I see you. But yeah, I think that will be the way that I do it. And again, I don't mind because Pillars of the Earth, like I said, amazing book. And I would not mind revisiting that one because what I just say about Stephen King, about how things are different when you're a teenager and once you've had a little bit of real life experience, I think maybe that might be the case. Not that I've had a lot of experience in 12th century England, building churches and things like that, building cathedrals. But yeah, I think that I will probably appreciate some things a little more now than I did when I read it. Because that was like A Song of Ice and Fire, So that was probably like the most complex thing that I had ever read up to that point in my life. I guess on par with Tolkien. But, there we go. That's a good enough reason, I think, to reread that. But lots of good feedback in that and lots of people interested in Kingsbridge, and I'm very excited. So I should be dipping into that series again sometime next year, and I'm very excited to return to it. And, yeah, you guys should watch that miniseries that Starz did. If you missed it, really good. Great cast. And Eddie Redmayne, Ian McShane, Haley Atwell. Really good. Really great cast. It's a really good adaptation in my memory, but it is, like 10, 13 years old now. So take that for what it is. How about a little bit of next week plans, guys? We have a couple of things. You might be asking, Mike, what happened to that Kindle Scribe review you're going to put out this week? I did get it recorded, guys. I just have not had a chance to get it edited yet. Like I said, you can hear in the voice I got a little under the weather, so I didn't get a chance to actually complete that one yet. But I'll have that up for you on Monday. I think Monday's a good time to drop that one. A lot of people had interest in the Kindle Scribe, know if they want to buy it before the holidays and things like that. So I want to make sure I got it out before the holiday shopping season starts. So with that, I kind of really did it as a should you upgrade video. I'm very happy with my Kindle Oasis. My wife is very happy with her Kindle Paperwhite. So I want to kind of take it from that point of view. But I felt like I also was fair to like, hey, is this your first Kindle? Would this be the one for you? And I break down all the reasons why I think that might be the device you're looking for if you are into certain things. And I kind of go into that there. I'll be dipping into my November reading plans, guys. Won't be as exciting as a spooky season one, where I did like a nice reading excerpt and everything. I don't think I'll be doing that for this TBR, but I do have some interesting additions to the list, and I do have like a surprise advanced reader copy that I should be getting in November that is actually going to break in that list, and I'm very excited about it, guys, because if you don't know, this is my most anticipated book of next year, and I might get to read it a little early, the author did email me and let me know that the arc is on the way. So I'm very, very excited about that. We'll talk about that and all the other things. We'll be returning to The Expanse and Realm of the Eldlings in November as we try to wrap those two series up here before the end of the year. Mike's Media Reviews, we really didn't get to watch very much this week, so that's why we didn't actually record anything. We are planning to do some Fall of the House of Usher recap. Not really recaps, but, instead of trying to review the entire series as a whole, we've watched the first 3 episodes, so we think we're going to do like episode 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and then 7, 8, and then like our final thoughts on it. But there's so much Edgar Allan Poe stuff I want to get into that video. We also watched The Vanishing, the American version, because I had no idea that it was not an American movie until we talked about it. But I did watch the American version with Kiefer Sutherland and Jeff Bridges, and we liked it a lot. We're going to talk about what we liked and disliked about it. And I think we might also talk about Signs, because my wife is a huge M. Night fan, and she will defend to the death that his movies are so much better than people give him credit for. And I think most people like Signs, but we're going to talk about that one. And then I think we'll also talk about Jason Lives. That's Friday the 13th, part 6, because it was her first Friday, and we watched that on Friday the 13th. And I just kind of want to know what she thinks about it, because it could be rather hilarious, to hear some of her thoughts on it. So I think it was a good place to start with Friday the 13th. It really does, because it felt like a soft reboot for the series, and that's where you got like zombie Jason. So we might talk about that, but we will be getting some Mike's Media Reviews, some post-credits videos out here sometime this week. Thank you guys that have jumped on board with that and watched our argument about Hereditary. It was very fun. I felt like it was very divided. At first, it was like, wow, maybe I've got the unpopular opinion on this one because everyone's agreeing with her. But a lot more people kind of jumped on now and said, they agree that Hereditary is a great movie. But there's been just as many people saying, oh, no, Patience is right. This one is a trash heap, as she so eloquently put it. How about some more TV and movie talk before I go, guys? There are a couple of things here. Haven't watched a ton of TV, like I said, except Fall of the House of Usher, and then sports. MLB playoffs are going on right now. It's the bye week for my NFL team, so I actually have some time this weekend. But, that's what Red Zone's for, because I can follow everybody's teams. It's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of people ask me about this Buffy reunion that they're doing for Audible. Now, what this is, they got a lot of the former cast members back from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show. In case you don't know, favorite TV show of all time, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. No regrets. I love it, guys. It's so good. And they're doing like a kind of a mini reunion with some of the cast members, and they're doing like Audible and some new storylines. Apparently, it's a different timeline, maybe. I don't know. Here's the thing. I've had tons of people message me, ask me if I'm going to do this. Well, first, guys, I don't audiobook, okay? But second, no, I don't have an interest in a Buffy reunion without Buffy in it. It's got a bunch of people coming back. But here's the deal. It is like a new story written by Amber Benson, who played Tara on the show. And I'm like, that's not a Buffy reunion. I don't know. It's just someone that was on the show for a combined total of maybe 2 seasons, writing a story about that character. I don't have any interest in that. I don't have any interest. That's like saying, hey, you don't want Marcus Blarkus or whatever his name was, Mark Blucas, to come back and write a story about Riley? No, I don't. I have no interest in that. So, again, without Sarah Michelle Gellar there, to me, it doesn't feel like Buffy. So I know some of you guys love James Marsters, and that's great. If you guys want to go and listen to that, cool. But that's why I'm not listening to it. That's not my thing. It just sounds like Buffy fan fiction to me. It's not being written by Joss Whedon, and it doesn't have Sarah Michelle Gellar in it. It's not Buffy to me. It's just a cheap imitation. I'll stick to the Buffy comics. So there we go, guys. This is something that I kind of want to bring up. I don't really know where to bring it up because it isn't exactly a TV or a movie. It is a YouTube video. But there is this YouTube user called Prism. Now, this was brought up to my attention by Star Wars Theory. If you guys don't know, Star Wars Theory, best Star Wars YouTuber out there. It's not even close. He's really a fan. I feel like he's fair on the Disney stuff. He doesn't like a lot of it, but he's fair on it. Probably more fair than I am. But I think he feels in a similar way about how the sequels went, than that they were just a big missed opportunity. And so he was doing like this reaction video to this thing called What If Episode 7 Was Awesome? And it's this user called Prism who basically rewrites 7, 8, and 9. And he kind of talks about them in a story. And he really goes through scene by scene of what these would be. And he uses this AI art to give us our our heroes and stuff. These new characters that they create, Finn and Ray and Poe. I got Buffy on the brain, Riley, as well as the aged versions of Han, Luke, and Leia. But the art makes it really, really cool. Makes it be able to get into it a little easier. Now, what I love about this is that it just shows what a missed opportunity, because he doesn't just completely scrap. Like a lot of these you'll see, they completely scrap everything that Disney did. Everything. And they just do their own thing, which is usually some variation of the Thrawn trilogy or, the New Jedi Order, which I appreciate. But he takes the ideas that Disney had. He keeps these characters and he just executes it differently. He even uses some of the same ideas, like Palpatine returning. And it's incredible what he does. The storytelling is great. And I'm not going to lie, guys, this was so good, I was actually like getting hit in the feels a few times. I got goosebumps on certain parts. It's really good. So he uses music and everything. It's really, really good. So I'm going to link those. I want you guys to watch them. And just in my head, it almost feels like, well, that's canon to me now. It really does feel like that version of Star Wars really, really done well. And again, what's incredible about it is he really didn't change a ton of their ideas. He just actually handled them like a professional writer would have. And it's just so good. It's so good. It's well done. And everybody likes to trash the Star Wars community about how we're so toxic and how we hate everything. But, it's love for the IP that something like this even gets made. And it's really, really good. So I hope you guys will check it out. That's pretty much all that's going on, guys. My oldest wants to watch everything Stephen King. And I told him, I respect that you want to do that for me. He watched It Part 1 and 2, so now he thinks he's a tough guy. And he wants to watch The Shining. I'm like, I don't think you're going to like The Shining. But if you want to watch it, man, I'll watch it with you. But hey, you're sleeping in your room. You ain't sleeping out here on the couch. You ain't sleeping in mom and dad's room, So we might do that tonight. But I guess real quick, gaming talk before I go. I told myself I was not going to buy Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5 because I have a backlog like crazy. Haven't even got back to Starfield yet, which people ask me about. Oh, did you get tired of Starfield? No, I got tired of battling my wife for TV time because she's still playing Zelda. So I just kind of took a break. But here's the thing. Is I have a deal with my kids. They get good grades. I will reward them with something. And he brought home his first report card, all A's and B's. And I was like, oh, well, damn. Well, what do you want, man? What can I do for you? He said, I want Spider-Man 2. So there we go. So Spider-Man 2, we'll be playing that probably tomorrow. I ordered it a day late because I forgot about it. And so we'll be getting it tomorrow instead of today when it did release. Like the first one a lot. I love Peter. He loves Miles and Peter, and so I think it's going to be plenty to do for both of us. We both love Venom, and it's going to be playing with a symbiote and stuff, so we're very, very excited to get into that. Super Mario Wonder is also another one that came out today, but that is a Christmas present because the whole family can play that. That's 4 players, but great time in gaming, guys, especially if you're not one of those that puts boundaries on yourself and says, I only play games on one system. And you got them all. It's very, very exciting. And the family can all play together. But guys, that was my week. I'm going to go suck on some cough drops now. And I want you guys to drop in the comments, tell me what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're playing, what you're listening to, all that fun stuff. Drop in the comments, guys, and have an awesome and safe weekend.